Hello and welcome back. It's been a little while since we've done a video. We've been
Out of town. We've
out of
had some other things
town.
going on, but
Yeah, kind of busy, but
still working on getting our groove here.
yeah. But you found this post the other day, and I hadn't seen this or even heard it, but I found it pretty interesting. Let's see here. So Southwest will require plus size passengers to purchase additional seats in advance, eliminating their prior ability to receive extra seats for free when available, should plus size passengers be required to purchase extra seats. So I thought this was very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it does pose the question, what.
Yeah, it doesn't pose a question.
Well, it's kind of like you just kind of wonder, how often does this take place if they're having to make an actual policy? Whereas I feel like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I
It does
I
kind of make you, I mean,
I have not flown much. You've flown more than I have.
yeah.
I think I was thinking about this when we were talking about doing this video. I was trying to say, how many times have I flown? If you count every stop, layovers and all, I've probably only flown between 10 and 15 times.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever been on a plane where I saw a plus size person
In two seats.
in two seats.
Me either.
And I was thinking, and that's something that I think I would have recognized or noticed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I've ever seen it. Not saying it didn't happen,
Right.
but I don't know that I've ever seen it. So how big of a deal is this really?
I don't know. So here we've pulled up. This is actually Southwest Airlines website.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. It says, "What is your policy for customers of size?" We've had a long-standing policy designed to meet the seating needs of customers who require more than one seat. Note: any customer traveling on an itinerary that includes a partner carrier. Now that's what one of their other partner airlines, who cannot be safely accommodated in a single seat, will be required to purchase an additional non-refundable seat. You must contact the partner carrier to complete this purchase, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Because, I guess they're partners, but like they can't say, hey, we can't make them
Yeah.
abide by our policy, whatever. So you have to kind of work with them. But then down here it says, customers who encroach upon the neighboring seats should proactively purchase the needed number of seats prior to travel to ensure the additional seat is available. That makes sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
The armrest is considered to be the definitive boundary between seats. Yes,
Yep.
that seems
That's kind of what I was
logical,
thinking.
understandable. And let's see, you may review information about the width of the passenger seats. In addition, Southwest may determine in its sole discretion that an additional seat is necessary for safety purposes. Southwest will refund the extra seat purchased upon request once travel is complete. After travel is complete, please request your refund. An additional seat purchased by a customer traveling on an itinerary that includes a partner carrier is non-refundable. So they're saying that if it's one of their partnered airlines, they're not gonna, this is just strictly Southwest and their policy. So if you do end up, say you are, you look and see what the width of the seat is between the armrests, and if it's not, if you feel like you aren't going to be comfortable being squeezed in between the armrest if you are wider than the seat,
Right.
or even the width of the seat, possibly, meaning you don't have much room.
Mm-hmm.
So you would rather have that additional room, then you can purchase the extra seat. And then after you've arrived to your destination, then you can go and request the refund. I think that's
Now,
and
go ahead.
that's what I'm understanding here.
That's kind of what I was asking. Okay, so they'll make you purchase the seat.
Right.
You fly,
Mm-hmm.
and when you get there, you can request a refund
Of that additional
of
seat.
that additional seat. So you're just holding that seat to verify no one else sits next to you.
Right.
Now, is it if you use the seat, if you put the armrest up and you're actually taking up two seats, do you get a refund? Or if you decide, once you get on the plane, oh, I don't really need the 2 seats. I can fit within the armrest. Then you get the refund.
I don't think it matters because the seat's not being
Well,
used
then-
either. Well, here's the thing. If you're booking your flight, you're booking the extra seat, and you go through your travel and you fly, you arrive at your destination. If you've booked that seat, if you've booked the 2 seats, whether or not you use them both, they're both reserved for you.
Yeah.
So I don't really think it matters, one way or the other, honestly, because
Right.
it as far as the airline is concerned, because they're like, well, as far as we're concerned, both of those seats are booked. So they're not going to they're not going to sell that seat to someone. That's for you. So,
Yeah.
you use it however if you want to put your bag in it or what, I mean, I don't know. I don't think you can do that, but
Yeah.
whatever it is, but if I'm reading this correctly, I mean, if once you get to your destination, then you can go and request for that additional seat because that was not booked for another person.
Yeah. So
It's
this
like
is
two
Yeah.
seats, but only one passenger. You're not, it's not like you have 2 airline tickets. You just have, I guess it's just the one ticket, but then there's just 2 seats to that one ticket. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
That's how they would do it.
So this is as long as you're flying on Southwest, you can do this.
Right.
You cannot do it if it's a partner carrier.
Right.
Right.
Because they're not going to force their partners
This
to
kind of
do
makes
the same.
it kind of makes sense. Yeah, because I thought all about this, and I've been thinking, yeah, the defining boundary of a person's seat is the armrest.
Yeah.
When we fly, we'll go in, we sit next to each other, we lift our armrest up between us because we want to sit close to each other,
Right.
But the marker or the boundary for the person next
the
to us
seat.
is the armrest.
Yes.
So I don't have a problem with this. I don't have a problem with this at all. But I know reading this post.
Yeah, go
there
back
was
to
a
the
lot
post because there's a bunch of comments
there's a bunch
about
of
it,
comments.
which is interesting because it's like we see something like you see something like this, you read about it, you're like, huh, okay. That's why I wanted to go and because it gives you the information that you need basically in the post. But I wanted to go and actually read what Southwest said on their website about it, just to kind of give more context and to actually hear it from them.
Yeah.
But I didn't know about the refund. So I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I get it that you have to purchase it because then it's reserved for you.
Correct. Right.
Because if not, then why wouldn't they just sell it to someone else?
They're going to put someone next to you.
Right. It's kind of like you gotta have to get, work with me here kind of a thing. And then you end up getting the money back if you end up doing it. So I guess you can kind of scroll a little bit. We can kind of look at the comments and see, because there's some,
Yeah.
And it's funny too, because you look at certain ones and you're seeing how many likes, how many views and how many likes. I kind of look at that, to kind of see like, okay, like how many people agree with this person. Cause it is kind of interesting to see like what people are saying about it. Like, what do you think about it? Let's see, this person says, I think it's a money grab by the airlines. Some people have diseases that make them plus size regardless of how they eat and work out. Also notice how airline nowadays always say no food will be served due to possible turbulence, even when the flight is smooth. And I don't know what he's talking about. I haven't eaten on a flight where they fed me since I was a child. Like, you might get some pretzels or some cookies or something, but they're not giving you a meal. I mean, maybe in first class, but
maybe long flights.
Never flown first class, so I don't know. But and that's another thing too. I was gonna say the first class seats are wider. So I mean, I've seen where there's that. So that's something to consider. But I don't really know how this has anything to do with the airline. I mean, they're just trying to run a business. I mean, they're I feel like I don't know. I haven't done like a deep dive on this to see like have the size of the seats on airplanes changed in the last 50 years,
Well, you can tell this person hasn't even read the actual statement by Southwest.
Oh, well, I don't think anybody has because when I was looking at this last night, I didn't know about the refund.
Yeah.
And there's nothing in the post about it either. So I think that is an interesting little spin, there. So no, I don't think it's a money grab. I think that it's like, listen, we're a business. We have, they have their own interests they have to look out for. They're not just looking out for that one. I mean, yes, they want to make sure that every single customer is happy, I'm sure,
Yeah.
and is safely flying or whatever. But at the same time, like, it's not all about you. Like, we've got all these other customers, all these other,
Yeah.
they're flying with us. We can't, focus all of our accommodation on you and put someone else out or whatever. Or we can't
Yeah.
just be like, so I think them
Yeah.
offering the refund is actually
Oh, I think that's
pretty
that's
nice.
good. I like this. This
Just advocate mom.
Yeah, I like this one.
So I wonder why it says 2.
I don't know. Is this
Maybe
her
she-
second post that she's made?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, I would prefer seeing some three seat row sections modified to 2 seat row sections, each seat selling for 1.5 times the price of a single seat. This would give passengers 3 options: first class, automatically wider seats, plus size economy or coach, or 2 single seats. That's actually a good idea.
Yeah.
And we had talked about this a little bit too, because I'm like, well, they could just make like extra large seats.
Yeah, they could take out 1 row, maybe 2 rows of 3-seaters, put 2 big seats, not the size of first class, but extra
Well,
wide
just
seats.
it being a
for-
seat and a half. So instead of 2, it would be
Yeah.
like 1.5. Where you just have
Yeah.
where you split it in the middle. No, I feel like that. That's reasonable, and then it just could be a little bit of an upcharge for
Right.
the extra.
And like I said, how often would this seat really get filled?
Well, there's some people that would want that anyway. I mean, even someone tall, even someone like maybe that's traveling with a small child or a baby that's sitting in the lap, like they would rather have the larger seat. I don't know. I mean, I feel like more people would. I mean, more people than you realize would probably opt for the bigger seat
the problem,
if
the
that's
problem
an
is
option.
with that. If you give everyone option to take a bigger seat, they'll take it. This seat would be only for someone who is plus size, who would have to prove.
I don't know.
And,
I don't know.
Yeah, because what happens? Say a mom and a child buys a ticket first. They buy this seat. Then you have someone that's 400 pounds wants to fly. Now they're stuck in a small seat when that seat was really made for someone who needs the larger seat.
See, now you're opening another can of worms, because I feel like it should just be for everybody. I think that if you want to pay the extra money and you want to have the extra large seat,
Well, if you want to pay the extra money, you just go to first class.
or that, well, no, that's what she's saying. Look, she says each seat selling for 1.5 times the price of a single seat.
Yeah.
So it would just be like an upcharge.
Well, then you'd have to have multiple rows of those.
Yes.
I was just saying
But there's so
having
many
one,
flights that are going in and out. I mean, that's just like, anyone trying to get a trying to get us, I think that this would be like, okay, so you know how when you go and you buy your flight, you don't necessarily have your seat at that moment. You're just buying a regular seat, you buy the flight, whatever. Then you go in later and you actually do your seat selection. So I feel like this would be a little bit different. Kind of like how now when you go to the movie, you go ahead and pick your seat when you buy your movie ticket. Not like back in the day where you just bought your ticket and then you walked in the theater and then you just picked your spot and sat down. So I'm thinking that this would have to be one of those things where, like, when you book your flight, you go ahead and you choose your seat on the plane right then.
No, I just think the airline should have one fat seat.
One?
Fat seat. And
Oh, my.
Like I said, I've flown between 10 and 15 times, and I cannot recall seeing someone that was so large that they had to take 2 seats. I just don't recall it. So how often does it really happen? I don't know.
I don't either.
Maybe it happens a lot more. Maybe I was just the 10 or so the flights that are on, it just didn't happen, and it's happening more than I know. But if you had one fat seat, and for that one person, and maybe it's not you. That seat is not available to be grabbed. It's when you show up, okay, you're a fat person, you're obese, this seat, this is your seat right here automatically.
Well, and not exactly like that because they're not going to call you that. But if
Well, they won't call you that, but
and
come
that's another
on.
thing
if,
too.
if you
Like
can't fit
plus
in a
size,
normal seat,
this isn't a plus size person situation. This
unless
is like a
you're-
morbidly obese, 300, 400 pound
well,
person.
if you're obese, yes. If you're just a large person, there are large people that are tall, big, whatever. It's
And I've
different.
seen that, but
if
they were
you're-
able to fit in the
if you're obese, just because you eat too much, you don't exercise, and you're just flat out obese, then here you go. Here's your fat seat if you want to fly.
Okay.
What?
You've not, yeah, I don't know. I don't think I can add to that. I mean, I don't think I can. I mean, you say that you feel that way. That's your opinion. That's yeah.
Well, I mean, I would rather them have a fat seat up at the front, and then rather than them sitting right next to me with them overflowing their seat.
Oh no,
into my
I
seat.
agree with you. Yeah, and I'm sure
Because
that they would rather
I'm putting
have.
armrest up. I don't care how uncomfortable you are because I paid for
You
my
mean you're
seat.
putting it down?
I'm putting my armrest down. I don't care how uncomfortable you are. I bought my seat. This is my space. I am sorry you can't fit in your space.
I agree with you, and I think that that's the whole point of this, the 2-seat thing. I think
Yeah.
that's the whole point of saying.
Yeah.
Because you can lift the armrest up and then you can just have the 2 seats.
You can
I think
have
that's
one-
the whole point of that.
Yeah, you can have one cheek on
But
each
I
seat.
think that they're trying to say, hey, you know, if you're wider than
Yeah.
17 inches or however wide the seat is, I'm just throwing a number. I have no idea how wide the seat is, but if you are wider than the seat, it's just like your carry-on luggage.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your carry-on luggage, it has to be a certain size to fit into the overhead compartment. If
Yep.
it's bigger than that, it's not going to fit in the overhead compartment. They're going to make you check it, which is
Yeah.
going to cost you more money. Well, unless you're flying Southwest, and I think they let you check 2 bags. But anyway, some of the other airlines, they don't include a checked bag. So if you're trying to, you know, just have a carry-on, it must be within those certain
Yeah.
parameters of size, or they will not let you take it on the plane. They will make you check it.
Mm-hmm.
So how is this not any different? If your bag can't fit in the oversized compartment, it can't go in there.
Yeah.
If you can't fit in the seat, you can't go in there. Or you have to get the extra seat. I mean, that's kind of, I mean, if you're looking at it just, okay,
Yeah.
just logistics alone, safety
Oh, yeah.
reasons and all of that. But then like you're saying, yes, I agree. If someone, you know, a neighboring passenger, you know, is like, listen, you're like way over on my,
Yeah.
in my seat here. You're like infringing on my space here. You know, I'm sitting here, I'm within my armrests and you're kind of flowing over into my space over the arm. You're
Yeah.
taking up the whole, you know, your comfort matters and it should, you know, you shouldn't have to be uncomfortable the entire flight, you know? So I do agree. I mean, it's like, you just have to kind of be like, come on, you know, like work with me here. Let's make this easier for everyone. And I think that's a happy medium. You know, it's like, hey, you got to pay for the seat up front, but you know, once you get to where you're going and you're done traveling, we will refund you the money for that extra seat. I think that's very nice. I think that's
Yeah.
really, you know, pretty accommodating there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's kind of like a deposit, I guess, sort of,
Yeah.
you know? Oh Lord, what are you saying? Oh, and then this person says, what is the definition of plus size? Where do you draw the line? And I think it's a matter of, I think it's a matter of actual size, like where you're like, okay, the seat is this wide. You know, this is the dimensions of the seat. So that's it right there. And if you are larger than that, or if you need, you know, more space than that, then you're going
Yeah.
to need more than just one
Yep.
seat. A regular standard,
Right.
you know,
Well,
economy ticket seat. But like you were saying, there's always first class, which is a bigger seat.
yeah.
And that's probably been, you know, a thing, I'm sure.
I'm sure.
Or you buy the extra seat. And then
extra-
that's, it seems pretty
Well,
simple.
I feel a lot better now that we actually read the article from Southwest,
Right.
where they're saying if you're plus size or you think you're plus size, go ahead and purchase the extra seat. When you get to your destination, ask for a refund, and they'll refund you the seat. End the story. Done.
I find it funny that people are like getting lost in this, like, well, what defines what? And like,
Yeah.
you should know yourself. You should be aware of you and your size enough to where because like that's where I disagree with you. I don't think the airline should have to tell you, I'm sorry, sir or ma'am, you are too large for our seats. That's ridiculous. You know, it's like maybe they need to have a seat. You know, like just a dummy seat, or not a dummy seat, but you know what I mean? Like just to show you this is what our seats look like.
Well, I mean, just
if you want to sit in it and see if it's going to
just make the doorway.
That's ridiculous.
Just make the doorway the width of the seat.
Okay.
If you can't fit through the doorway, then guess what? If you got to turn sideways to get through the door, then guess what? You get the fat seat.
Well, I was going to say they do have those things where you put your suitcase in to see if your suitcase is the right size. So I was just kind of using that same logic, but that might be embarrassing. You know, I think a lot of it is just save yourself the embarrassment. Like just measure yourself.
Everyone's too worried about hurting someone's feelings.
I don't think that I agree with you. And I think that's definitely gotten out of hand. I mean, if you aren't being rude, if you're just being honest and you're just saying this is our policy from a business standpoint, this isn't about you, this isn't personal. But if it pertains to you, here's the information you need. You should take that personal. Like you shouldn't be like, oh, you hurt my feelings. No, it's just a policy. It's not about that. But if it's a person saying you're too big, or you need this, or let's embarrass this person in front of everyone, now that is rude, and that I do think that's not necessary. But I do think that people should take responsibility for themselves, and they should say, hey, I know I'm not a tiny person. I need to do my due diligence and make sure. If I need to take care of myself, I don't need to rely on the airline to make sure I'm comfortable. I need to say, hey, this is a need I have. How can, is there any way you can accommodate me? What can we do? I'm willing to do what I need to do. I just can I talk to someone in customer service? I just want to make sure I get this handled before I get to my flight. I just want to make sure I know and all is
the
good.
fat seat available?
Whatever. How do I do this? And then that person on the other line or whatever, they should be kind and they should accommodate you.
Yeah.
But I ultimately believe that it's like, that's the way, you should take some responsibility for yourself. It's not a big deal. And they should accommodate you as their customer, and then it doesn't have to be a thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's just funny that, this has gotten like a lot of,
there's a lot
comments and
there's
of course, everybody's going to have an opinion.
And there's some idiots on here. And then
some people are rude, and then some people are just, kind of extra about it. But
But anyway, I thought this was a good topic to talk about. It was something kind of new.
Something different.
Something I've never witnessed or
even thought about, honestly. But I'm sure that it happens. Otherwise, this wouldn't be an issue if it didn't happen.
You kind of think you get to the airplane, you get on the airplane, you put your luggage away, and you sit down in a seat, and you're like, okay, who's sitting next to me this flight?
Or behind me, or in front
of me. Or, hope they took a bath, hope they showered, hope they don't stink. And I think about that kind of stuff.
If they don't take their shoes off.
While you're sitting next to the window and I'm sitting on one side of you, then
you're my buffer.
I'm your buffer from the fat seat.
Stop. You're my buffer from the other person.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is it's not, flying is not the funnest thing in the world, but.
No.
But I think
it's
overall.
Worse.
I think so. It seems like the planes are just smaller too.
I don't know.
But
Unless
anyway.
it's a long trip, I'd almost just rather drive. You get to see more of the country. You get to stop and
depends
go
on your time
whenever
constraints
you want to.
too.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think ultimately though, it's like we just want to arrive alive. Can we just be safe? Like so from that standpoint, it's like okay, we need to do what is safe for everyone, so everyone is as comfortable as they can be.
Yeah.
And be safe and arrive alive.
Yep.
So I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Yep.
All right. Well. Don't know if you've ever had this experience or if you knew about this or if you have anything to add.
Yeah, if you have a story about
any of it, anything,
trip,
anything
if you've been on either side of the aisle, if you're a rather large person and had to have flown and squeeze yourself in a little seat, or you've been the one sitting next to the person and have someone overflow into your seat. Let us know about that.
Oh my! Or if you've just
tell us about
like if they were accommodating to you.
Yeah.
Or someone maybe.
Tell us your thoughts. What you think?
They can tell you their thoughts.
Okay. All right. Tell me your thoughts in the comments, and I'll I'll message you back.
Okay. Well, thank you for watching.
Yeah, thank you for watching. And if you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. Help us grow. And until next time, we'll see y'all.
Bye.